Hey everyone, I'm Jason Fitzgerald from Strength Running, and welcome to the first inaugural edition of Q&A with Coach, where I take your questions from Twitter and answer them here on video. I'm really excited to start the show because as I'm sure you can guess, I get a lot of running questions on Twitter, and a lot of the times giving you a good answer in 140 characters or less just isn't possible. So I wanted to take this opportunity and be able to go into a little bit more depth, a little bit more detail, so I can better answer your questions and help you achieve more of whatever running goals that you have. So here's the deal. If you have a question, just go on Twitter. My handle is JasonFitz1. Tweet me your question with the hashtag RunQuestion, and I'll make sure that I see that and I'll add it to my ever-growing list of questions, and you may find yourself on the show. Okay, let's get started. I have the first question from They Call Me Bum. Awesome Twitter handle, by the way. So this question is about marathon training. They Call Me Bum is training for a sub 3-hour Chicago marathon, and he says, I train in the heat and humidity of coastal Georgia. How much treadmill is okay in the final weeks? This is actually a really good question because it talks to the specificity of training. Okay, so Chicago Marathon is October 12th, 2014. It's notoriously varied in terms of the weather. Some years it can be up to 90 degrees. Some years it can be very cold. It is Chicago in October after all. So to prepare for a potentially very hot and humid day, I think it's actually really great to train in an environment like Georgia where it is going to be very hot and humid. So I wouldn't totally train 100% on the treadmill during those final weeks before the Chicago Marathon. Instead, what I would do is just to maintain the adaptations that you've developed over the last few months, I would do 2 to 3 runs per week outside where it is much more likely to be hot and humid. So as long as you're doing that, you'll maintain those adaptations so that on race day, if it is hot, if it is really humid, you'll still be adapted to those conditions, and you'll still be able to run as well as possible in that kind of environment. Now with that said, there's another issue here, and that's just being on the treadmill, okay? So when you're on the treadmill, you're obviously running on a very different surface than you are if you're running outside. And the last time I checked, Chicago isn't run on a treadmill. It's run on the roads in the city of Chicago. So again, specificity of training. You don't want to do all of your training on the treadmill and then you go to run outside for the marathon, and your body isn't going to be accustomed to that running surface. So what you want to do is, again, a couple runs outside per week if you can, and that'll keep your body adjusted to not only the heat and humidity, but also the running surface too, so that you'll be well acclimated to both. Great question. All right, question number 2 comes from RJ Showman. For trail running, what is more important to focus on in preparation, speed or leg strength, and to what extent? This is an interesting question. So I'm going to assume that when RJ Showman is asking about preparation, we're talking about preparation for trail running. So if you're not doing any trail running and you want to start trail running, how do you prepare for that? Quite simply, the best way to do it is just to simply go for a nice, easy run on some trails. You don't need to implement any kind of structured preparation or anything like that. Now, of course, beginners who are new to trail running shouldn't go on a mountainous, very technical trail for their first trail run. That's going to be very challenging, and it's going to introduce a lot of different things that you're not used to. So a really good way to start is to simply go off-road, and that can be grass, it can be a cinder running path or walking trail, and these are surfaces that are different from the road, and they do offer more irregularity to them, but they're not very technical. And as you get more comfortable with that, you can start running more and more technical trails. You can start running more hilly technical trails. Okay, but let's talk about this speed or leg strength issue. Now, you don't really need any speed preparation before you start doing trail runs. There are some ultra running trail runners who are elites. These are the pros, the guys who win races, who do virtually no speed work whatsoever. Now, if you're not an ultra runner and you want to do short trail races, 5K, 10K, maybe even up to the half marathon, you know, there's an element of speed in those shorter races. But as you prepare to run trails, what's more important is leg strength. And so this is going to be more helpful as you navigate the obstacles on a trail. So there's going to be rocks, there's going to be more undulating surfaces. Those irregularities are going to present a lot more stress to your legs. So if you can do some leg exercises, I would say 2 to 3 times per week. You know, ideally I like to tell my runners just to do about 15 minutes of body weight, core and strength exercises after every run. And if you're doing that, that's going to make you much more prepared to do more and more trail running. So let's see. Now for speed, let's talk about that a little bit. If you're getting ready to do trail races, it is going to be important for you to do some of your faster workouts on trails. Now, what type of trail, that's going to be kind of up to you and up to what kind of race that you're preparing for. So if you're getting ready for, let's say, a 10K trail race, and you know you're a relatively new trail runner, then the time that you run in that 10K trail race is going to be significantly slower than what you're going to run on the road or on the track even. So you're definitely going to want to adjust your expectations, but make sure that you do some of your workouts on a similar surface as the race itself. Because I think above all, more than speed, more than leg strength, familiarity and being comfortable on the specific terrain that you're going to be running on is much more helpful when it comes to trail run. All right, our final question. This question comes from Dean Orbit. Thanks for submitting your question. Dean asks, any tips about footing on different terrains of the trail and running downhill? So I wanted to tackle this question because we were just talking about trail running, and this is a little bit of a similar question. Okay, so footing on different terrains. There is a great quote in the book Born to Run by Caballo Blanco, the late Micah True. And his quote was, if you're debating between 2 steps and 3 between rocks, take 4. And the lesson there is you need to be really cognizant of your surroundings on the trail. You need to be really aware of the footing that's underneath you. And you're going to want to take shorter, faster, quicker steps. This is going to help you remain a lot more stable on the trail. It's going to improve your ability to navigate the undulating terrain, the rocks, the roots, any kind of debris that's on the trail. So in terms of footing, you know, increase your cadence. You're going to want to have a higher cadence. This is your step rate, or the number of steps you take per minute. And you know, you just want to make sure that you're not, you know, kind of lumbering along and taking very long steps, because not only is that less efficient, but it's going to predispose you to turning an ankle or falling on the trail. Okay, so let's talk more about running downhill. Running downhill, especially on a trail, can be challenging, especially the faster you're going. There's a few things that you really want to look for. Number one, make sure that you're not leaning too far back. This is going to cause you to break, and it's going to put a lot of stress on your legs. Now, with that said, make sure that you're not leaning way too far forward either, because what that's going to do is it's just going to, gravity is going to pull you down, and you're going to go way too fast, and your legs are going to spin way out of control. So instead, what you want to do is maintain just an erect, tall posture and stay in control. you want to be very in control when you're running it downhill, whether that's on the trail or whether that's on the road or any running surface that you're on. And so if you're running tall, focus on staying relaxed. And that's probably the most important thing for running downhill, especially if you're in a race situation or if you're doing a workout where you need to be running quickly on a downhill. So if you're staying relaxed, you're not going to go out of control, you're not going to break, you're not going to tense up. Your injury risk is actually going to fall if you're staying really relaxed on a downhill, even if you're running fast. So stay relaxed, maintain an upright posture, don't lean too far back or too far forward. And again, you're going to want to increase your cadence a little bit, or your step rate. So move your legs a little bit quicker. Don't reach too far out with your legs. You're probably going to have some really aggressive heel striking if you do that. That's a big no-no, especially on a downhill, which is going to really increase the impact forces up your leg. So instead, try to land underneath your body with a quick turnover, stay relaxed with an upright posture. And those are the two best ways, or four best ways to run downhill efficiently, effectively, and also quickly. Okay, thanks for watching Q&A with Coach. I really hope you found these answers valuable. If you want to see your question featured on the show, just tweet me your running question on Twitter. My Twitter handle is JasonFitz1, and make sure you use the hashtag RunQuestion so that I can find it on Twitter. I'm really excited about the show. As the show evolves and progresses, I hope to answer a ton more questions and provide a ton more answers for you so that you can become a better runner, because that's what this is all about. I'm Jason Fitzgerald, and this is Q&A with Coach. Thanks for watching.
I could go for a disgusting breakfast sandwich.